December 164 BCE. King Antiochus Epiphanes has successfully defended Armenia from conquest by the Parthians when a messenger arrives. Judah Maccabee has defeated the Jerusalem garrison at Bet Zur. There's no time to waste. By now, Jerusalem has surely fallen, so Antiochus gets on his chariot and races for his capital, Antioch. From there, he can board a ship for Jaffa and deal with the Jews himself. But then something happens. One night, the very same night that Judah Maccabee begins his reconsecration of the temple, Antiochus is stricken with unimaginable pain in his intestines. He begins to take out his pain and fury on his horse. On the 8th day, he rides his horse so ragged that the beast throws the king from his chariot, killing him instantly. Is this the miracle of Hanukkah? Antioch, 163. Autumn had given way to winter. The king was dead, and the royal court was actually pretty okay. Antiochus had been off fighting the Parthians for so long that his advisor Lysias had effectively been running the country for years. And since the new king, Antiochus Eupator, was only 9 years old, Lysias wasn't going anywhere. But that January, a strange message arrived from Rome. Offer terms to the Jews, or we will release Demetrius. Notice that the Romans didn't say, make peace with the Jews, just offer terms. That's because the Romans were in a difficult position. Several decades earlier, the Romans had taken the Seleucid prince Demetrius as a hostage. As the new king's uncle, Demetrius was now just another rival for the throne, and thus no longer useful as a hostage. But having spent basically his entire life in prison, he was no friend of the Roman Senate. So the Romans bluffed. They figured that whether or not the Jews made peace with Lysias, either outcome would result in a weaker Seleucid empire, opening the door for future Roman expansion. What the Romans didn't know is that in rejecting Lysias's terms, the Jews were also bluffing. Jerusalem hadn't fallen. Several decades earlier, when Judea had been under Egyptian rule, the Ptolemies had transformed the oldest part of the city of David, into a fortress of fortresses, the Acra. And it was here where the last remnant of the Jerusalem garrison now holed up, their continued existence a closely guarded secret. Judah Maccabee was just developing a plan to take the Acra when disaster struck. Lysias invaded Judea with a unified army of 50,000 infantry, 5,000 cavalry, and 30 war elephants. With only 20,000 men, Judah had to make a decision now. Abandon the siege of the Acra and risk the garrison breaking out, or lure Lysias to Jerusalem and risk the garrison being discovered. Judah chose the former, meeting Lysias's men on the high plains of Bet Zechariah. Until now, the Jews had used guerrilla tactics, luring the Seleucid troops into unfamiliar wilderness and ambushing them piecemeal. But Judah recognized that Lysias would be expecting guerrilla tactics. This time, he decided, the Jewish army would march out in full phalanx formation. And it was there that the Maccabees lost? Yeah, the Maccabees lost. Their first defeat. They just didn't have the numbers. And Judah's younger brother, Eleazar Avaran, was killed after felling one of Lysias's war elephants. I have to be honest, writing the scripts for these videos is as much an education for me as it is for you, and I genuinely didn't expect this. Nor did I expect what happened next. Lysias pursued the Jews back to Jerusalem. The game was up. Soon the Acra would be relieved and Jerusalem would once more fall into ruin. But upon reaching the city, Judah Maccabee looked back and saw the Seleucids fleeing. Another fateful message had arrived in Lysias's camp. Prince Demetrius has taken Antioch, the Romans have set him free, and he is coming to make peace with Judea. Special thanks to my patrons, including my new Gaonit level patron, Vicky Nelson. If you like this video, you too can donate via Patreon, link below, along with channel merch and my book, An Armada of Cats Travels in Israel. Otherwise, you can always like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you next time for the dramatic conclusion of the Maccabee trilogy.